Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Sara Erdner. Again, thank you so much for letting me be your mental strength coach. This information is brought to you for Figure It Out Baseball. In this video series, we're going to be talking about the foundational components of sports psychology. So in the first video of this series, we talked about your why in order for you to create a firm foundation to come back to when the season gets long and the days get long and you get stressed. We have that why that we're coming back to. Now in this video, video 2, we're going to be talking about your core values, or maybe you have heard of them called convictions or standards for play. Now, why are we looking at your core values? Well, your core values coincide very well with your why statement. And we have our why statement already from the last video. Now, your values are how you want to go about exercising your why statement. And once we can determine not only why we're here, but how we want to exercise our why, then we are going to have a very solid foundation for the sports psychology mental strength house that we are building. Now first I want to talk about what are values, and then we're going to go into an exercise on how you can determine what your core value is. So, values are standards that you would like to live by. So for example, I really encourage people to have one-word values or convictions because it's just easy to remember. But for some, they have maybe a 3 to 2 word phrase, which is okay. So some people, it might be joy or kindness. For me, it's connection and relationships and authenticity. So those are what your values are. They're guideposts for how you want to behave in society. Now, what I want you to do now is to go find a piece of paper and a pencil, and if you need to pause this video to gather the materials, please do so. Now that you have your materials, what I want you to do is write down a list of 10 things that you value. So for example, it might be family and friends or some of the other values I already mentioned. And again, take as much time as you need, pause this video, to write down your list of 10 values. Now, for some of you, you might be having a problem writing down 10 values. That's perfectly okay. I always have a problem with coming up with 10 values off the top of my head. So what I want to encourage you to do is go to the internet. So if you haven't already done so, you can Google a list of values, and that is perfectly fine. I do it all the time. Go down the list of values. Sometimes it's like the top 50 value list of 2018. Go through that value list, and if there's a value that you see that you really resonate with, boom, write down that value. And then get all the values to be able to make your list of 10 values. Pausing this video to take as much time as you need. Alright, now you're sitting in front of you with the 10 values on your sheet of paper and you're feeling pretty good about yourself, which you should. These are all things that are on this list that you exercise. At the end of the day, you are a good human, and I love the list that you have in front of you because they are beautiful and perfectly right for you. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something that you might snark at. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. I want you to take your pencil or your pen, and I want you to cross off 3 of those core values, leaving you with 7 values on your sheet. Again, pausing this video and taking as much time as you need. Now, you're probably wondering why I just asked you to cross off 3 values. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but what I want you to do now is cross off 3 more values from that list, which should leave you with 4 total values. Again, pause this video, take as much time as you need to trash some of your values. Okay, how you feeling? Now I want you to cross off 1 more value, just 1, not 3, 1 more value to leave you with 3 values on your sheet of paper. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. I want you to take your pencil or your pen, and I want you to cross off 3 of those core values, leaving you with 7 values on your sheet. Again, pausing this video and taking as much time as you need. Now, You're probably wondering why I just asked you to cross off 3 values. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but what I want you to do now is cross off 3 more values from that list, which should leave you with 4 total values. Again, pause this video, take as much time as you need to trash some of your values. Okay, how you feeling? Now I want you to cross off 1 more value, just 1, not 3, 1 more value, to leave you with 3 values on your sheet of paper. Again, take as much time as you need, pausing this video. Alright, now you have your top 3 values sitting in front of you, and you are just so proud of them, which you should be. These are your top 3 values. Now I want you to do one more thing before this exercise is over, and I want you to rank these 3 values. So what would you give gold, silver, or bronze? Again, pause this video and take as much time as you need. Okay, now that you have ranked your 3 core values, I want you to circle, star, highlight, whatever you want to do, your number 1 core value. This is your number 1 core value that is going to be paired with your why. So you might be thinking, what does this have to do with baseball, and how can I exercise blank in baseball? That's what I want you to take the remainder of the time after this video to really reflect on. So for example, one of the baseball players I have worked with before's number 1 core value was joy. Now you might be thinking, how is joy going to help me perform well? Well, what we started talking about is how can you exercise your core value. So for him, how can you exercise joy on a daily basis in the task that you're completing in practice and in games, in the dugout, in the locker room. And then we started talking about different behavior changes and emotions and thought changes that he could make in order to start performing more authentically to himself. Well, what we saw was him being able to walk into the batter's box filled with joy. And when he was filled with this value that was connected with his why, he was more rooted and solid in his performance because he didn't feel so scattered. He felt more solidified in who he was, and knowing that in this at-bat, or while I'm on the mound, or while I'm fielding, I want to be able to have fun and to experience joy while I'm doing it. So that's what I want you to think of, is how can you exercise your number 1 value in everything you do in baseball. And again, if you need individual help on this and individual consulting, you can reach out to me at the information provided to you at the end of this video. But what I want to do in the remainder of these videos in this particular series is talk about the different components of sports psychology that we will use to enhance your mental strength to lead to optimal performance. But at the same time, we're going to be trickling in your why and your values throughout in order for you to be a more solid and mentally strong player, to be able to achieve the physical performance standards that you need to meet in order to optimally perform. So again, I want to invite you to watch video 3 in this series, where we're going to be talking about another and very important component of your mental strength that will then lead to building a stronger mental strength house for you. Again, my name is Dr. Sara Erdner. Thank you so much for letting me be your mental strength coach. This information is brought to you for Figure It Out Baseball.